Most people remember the horrific crash of Poland's presidential plane back in 2010. It shocked the world, but as the years passed, the memories have started to fade. This always surprised me when it came to plane crashes. They're horrific, but we always seem to forget about them. I was kind of curious how it would feel to visit a somewhat forgotten crash site. Would I still feel any fear or emotion? With that in mind, I set out to visit the resting place of Lot Flight 5055.
So we're here in Kabate, a district on the edge of Warsaw, and standing in an absolutely beautiful forest preserve. And it's always interesting for me to discover these hidden secrets of beautiful places. One of the secrets held by this place is a horrific plane crash that happened in 1987, where a plane destined for San Francisco crashed, killing all 183 passengers. Today I want to visit this place to see if there's any remnants from the crash itself, and also just to kind of feel the vibes of the location where the tragedy happened. So to the best of my understanding, the flight bound for San Francisco was leaving the Warsaw area when the tower instructed them to climb to a higher altitude to avoid some training activities that were going on with other aircraft in the area. When the pilot applied the thrust, something went wrong in the engine. The ball bearings basically failed, causing a catastrophic explosion. Now, from the pilot's perspective, they noticed that they had an engine out. What they did not realize is that this engine exploded, causing shrapnel to pierce the fuselage and start a fire inside of the airplane. Now, they were in a really bad situation because they could not simply come around and land. The airplane was fueled to fly all the way to the United States, so it was too heavy. Their systems were failing and they could not dump the fuel, so they actually had to fly a far enough distance to burn the fuel that was inside of the airplane at the time. They went up near Grudziądz and did consider landing in Gdańsk, but at the time the airplane was too heavy, so they elected to continue back around to land in Warsaw. Now, when they came back into the vicinity of Warsaw, the tower recommended that they could land at Modlin, what was at the time a military airport. The pilots decided that Modlin would not be the best option because it was not readily available and prepared to handle a severe crash landing, an emergency landing. There was infrastructure there, but the main Warsaw airport was better equipped. So they tried to make it all the way back here. Now, keep in mind the fire was spreading through the fuselage at the time, getting worse and worse. The systems on the plane were falling apart, and unfortunately, in the short proximity to the Warsaw airport, they had catastrophic engine failure on both engines. Systems failed and the plane crashed here in the middle of the forest. And from what I read, from the sky there's still a visible strip where the airplane had destroyed the trees 30 years ago. But what's most eerie is the fact that behind me, I can clearly hear the sound of airplanes operating, flying by, going about business as usual. But inside of this small strip, you can't help but look at those planes with a common, ordinary perspective. You can't help but imagine the horror that took place here. People reported that there were dismembered human bodies scattered around the trees, human intestines hanging from the trees. It was absolutely horrifying. 62 of the bodies were not even identifiable after the crash. One of the things that strikes me here is the fact that, yes, this area is intentionally kept clear as a memorial site, but if you look beyond the boundaries here, there are many, many young trees that are certainly younger than the time that the crash took place. So I did discover a few pieces of burnt wood, some long laid out trees that could be 30 years old. Without being an archaeologist, obviously I have no idea if this is evidence of a crash having taken place here. Regardless, the crash did happen. We know about it. We can still see the spot from the sky. It's a touching place. And here we've stumbled upon a memorial candle left here. It looks quite old, but the peculiar thing is that it's outside of the official memorial site in the forest, and I can't help but wonder if this was the final resting place of someone's mother, someone's father, or brother, sister, cousin, husband, loved one. This happened actually quite recently in the scale of history, so I can't help but imagine that the loved ones return here to pay respects.